Hi everyone, this is Tuplex, and welcome to what I hope will be the best Factorio tutorial on YouTube. I did a tutorial series back in version 15, and it still gets a lot of views and a lot of comments, but a lot has changed in the game since then. So I wanted to make a refreshed version for the current stage of the game. Right now, I'm playing version 17.66. Okay, so just so you know where we stand. And the next time there are any major changes to the game, I'll refresh it. Now, I'm assuming that, as a prerequisite, that you've done at least the basic tutorials of the game, that are built into the game, that you know how belts work and inserters and assembly machines. Aside from that, I'll do my best to explain everything. All right. So I'm not using any mods. I do have a lot of mods on my computer, but none of them are enabled except for the base mod. So this is basically a vanilla playthrough. And we're going to be using mostly default settings. Okay, so we're going to go to play, new game, and then I'll show you what I do to start a map. Let's go to preview. Now this is the map that I've generated ahead of time. I will share the map exchange string with you, just so you know how to do that. If you wanted to load an exchange string, basically that allows you to start up a new game with the same map and the same settings as another person. So you would just come down here to where it says import map exchange string. You're going to copy this big string, which I'll make available to you. Click confirm, and then you'll get exactly what you see here. As long as you're on the same version of the game or close to it and you don't have any mods installed. Okay, if you load mods or the version changes significantly, then sometimes that'll make the exchange strings yield different results. So just be aware of that. Okay, so what I'm looking for when I start a new map is I'm looking for our four main resources fairly close together, right? We've got copper, iron, coal, and stone. Those are all fairly close together. We're close to water. I want some trees, but I don't want to be, these green patches that you see here, those are trees. I don't want to be in the middle of a forest because then I'll be chopping trees down most of the time. And I'm also going to look to make sure that I can see some oil. So in this case, we've got some oil up here, which is not terribly close, but it's not super far away either. We won't need trains to get there or anything. On my settings, the resource settings these are all default. Okay, frequency, size, and richness, these are all the same as usual. If you wanted to make your ore patches last longer, you could turn up the richness, and that shouldn't change anything else on the map. Let's just try that real quick. Yeah, the map, it looks to be pretty much the same, except the patches are richer. Now in this case, I'm going to keep them turned down because I want us to have to expand out so that we can make trains a part of this tutorial. Okay, terrain is all default except I have turned off cliffs. All right, now you can play with cliffs if you choose. These are all cliffs. They're going to get in your way. You can make cliff explosives to remove them if you like. But me personally, I don't like playing with cliffs because I feel that they just get in my way more than anything else. The enemy options are all default. And advanced options are all default except for one thing that I changed. Research queue availability by default is after a game is finished, which means that normally you won't have access to the research queue until you've launched a rocket. And until then, every time a research finishes, you'll have to stop, go into the menu, and click your next research. I do like to use the queue. This allows me to select in advance, I think up to 6 different research options, and they will continue to go until the queue is empty, and I don't have to stop and select the next one every time one finishes. Okay, so those are the options. Let's get started. Now, the goal for now for getting started here, is to set up some mining so that we can start gathering resources. And then the first thing that I'm looking to do is get enough iron and copper and stone so that I can get power started, I can set up a radar, and I can set up some basic research. All right, so that'll be the goal for today. Now, right off the bat, one of the things that I'm going to be looking for are coal rocks. Okay, so let me get this tree out of the way so you can see. Okay, this is a coal rock. Now, the boulder that I got earlier only gave me stone. This one gives me stone and coal, which is great because we can use coal right at the beginning to power our furnaces. Okay, so I'm looking for these coal rocks. Ideally, I'll find 2 or 3 of them right at the start. And that way I don't have to chop down a lot of wood to power my furnaces. Now, a trick that you can do to look for these rocks is select your deconstruction planner and just select the map, or portions of the map. And you can see there that I see wood, I see stone, and I see coal. So if you see coal when you do this, that means that you've got a coal rock in there somewhere. Okay, and then I'm going to click Q to make that go away. So this rock over here doesn't have coal in it. That's only stone. Right, and you can see that when you go over coal, you don't see anything. So anytime you see coal when you're doing this, it's because there's a rock. So you just have to kind of narrow down until you find where that rock is. Sometimes they're hidden by trees. Okay, and it's right there. Right, so we'll get these trees out of the way, and there's my coal rock. Okay, so 2 coal rocks will give me a nice start. I'll get this rock while I'm at it. We need a lot of stone to make furnaces. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to production. I'm going to shift and left click on stone furnaces, and that'll start producing 21 of them, which was the maximum that I could make with the amount of stone that I had. All right, we're going to need a lot of those. Okay, so I'm going to put down my first mining drill. I'll put down a furnace, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the coal on my hotbar here so I can just press 1. I can press the 1 key and automatically get coal. And then if I shift right click, that'll put half of what I'm holding into the furnace. Shift right click again. And now we're mining iron ore, putting it into the furnace, and that'll make iron plates. Okay. Now, the other thing I like to do right at the beginning is to toggle Alt mode. So you can either press this button here, or you can press the Alt key. Press the Alt key. Oh no, you know what? I think I have the Alt key disabled. Because I often use that to tab out. So you can press that, or by default you can press the Alt key, and that way you'll be able to see what's being made there. Okay, so if I control click, I can pick up whatever's inside. First thing I'm going to do is make some more of these. Okay, now I'm going to get some of that coal out of there. I don't need quite so much. So I'm going to control right click, and that'll take some of the coal out. That way I'll have coal to use for these other ones. Okay, and every time we get 9 iron plates, we can craft another one of these. And get another one going. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of the coal out just so I don't get too much. And I'll craft another one. Now when you see me like instantly select these things, if you hover over a building, like I'm hovering over this burner mining drill with my cursor, if I press Q, that'll automatically select it from my inventory if I have it. Okay, so that can save you a lot of time. It works with furnaces or anything else too. If I don't have one, it'll select a ghost. Right, and I can put those ghosts down. If I had bots, then the bots would put them down when they were available. If I don't have bots, then it's just a good way to kind of plan out what you want to do. Right? So I'm going to leave those 4 there because my goal right now is to get 8 of these things going. And I should start to look for some more coal while I'm doing this. So let's see if we can find another coal rock. I don't see any more. So we may have already gotten all the coal rocks that are close by. So that's fine. So we'll do that. And now I'm just going to control right click, control left click, and we'll have 4 going until we get some more coal. So let's start mining coal. So I'm crafting 4 of these drills. I'm going to grab some stone here because I need more stone as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 4 of these and I'm going to make them go in a circle where they feed each other. Okay, I don't have any more coal, so I'm just going to right click to drop in a single piece of wood. That'll get this one started. As soon as this one has some coal, it's going to feed this one. Once that one mines some coal, it'll feed that one. And so these will all feed one another in a loop, and then eventually this one will get fed again too. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, what's the point of just feeding fuel from one to the other? Well, the good thing is that they mine the coal faster than they consume it. So over time, they'll build up, as you can see here, they'll build up multiple stacks of coal. And then you can just control left click, and every time you run by, you can just grab whatever they've got. Okay. So let's go back and get some more iron. I can see that we need some coal here, so I'll add some more coal there. And then we'll get another one of those going. So now I'm starting to get a lot of coal, or a lot of iron. I'm going to make 3 more of these, and then I'm going to make a wooden chest. And let's grab more coal. Okay, and then I'm going to array these so that these all point to a center location there. I'm going to place a box and just control right click, right click, right click, and we'll left click the last one so that we can start to collect stone automatically as well. And let's see, I'll make a couple more of these drills because we're going to need more than just 4 of these to make as much coal as we're going to be using. Okay, so now we got 6. We'll gradually build that up. Now I got more coal. That's 6. Let's make another 6, and I'll just go ahead and get all the coal going that I can right now. And we'll start making a few furnaces. We'll have to wait a moment for that to finish up. Let's go ahead and place that before we go back up there. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll start setting up something like this for copper. But we need far fewer copper plates than we need. 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. Oh no, we got 2 more. There we go. Okay, so now we've got 12 machines mining coal for us. We've got 4 machines mining stone. We've got 10 on iron that don't all have fuel right now. We'll take care of that. Okay, that'll keep us going for a little while. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. Let's do 2 more there. Well, I'll just make all of those. Let's do 2 more in iron. And I've used up all my stone. I have to go get more stone for those furnaces. So that way we'll have 10 machines making iron plates. And I know this might seem like a lot for the beginning, but we're trying to build up a lot of resources fairly quickly so that we get off to a really smooth start. Right, so I know, I see a lot of players that start off with just like 2 or 3 mining drills here, 2 or 3 there, and you end up having a rather slow start because I'll use wood for these for now because you're waiting a long time for resources to get produced. All right, so let's do 4 on copper. I'm going to run down and get more coal. And then I'll put another 4 machines. Oops. Making coal. Okay. That way we'll be getting lots and lots of coal. And then I'll start crafting more furnaces. Okay, so again, I'm just control right clicking on all these. They're not all getting exactly the same amount of coal, but that's okay. Now that I've got all these machines down here, I should be able to get a lot of coal fairly quickly. Okay. So let's get some copper started, and then we're going to start to power up the base. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 boilers, 4 steam engines. I'm going to make an offshore pump. I'm going to make some power poles as soon as I collect more wood. All right, so I'll make a couple handfuls of power poles. I'm going to make 1 radar. I will eventually make 1 lab. Once I grab more copper plates. I'm also going to want a pipe to ground. Okay, 1 lab. And then I'm going to go right click. That gives me 5, 10 red science packs. Okay, and that's what I need to research automation. That's going to be the first thing that we research. That'll give us assembly machines, which will allow us to start to automate the production of all the stuff that I'm currently making in my pocket. Now we could put the power plant up here, or we could put it down here. I think we'll put it up here. Okay, we need water for the power. So I've got an offshore pump here. Actually, let's make it up here. That way we can add more of these later and have room, have them all lined up. All right, so I'm going to do the offshore pump. I'm going to do 1 underground pipe to bring it out away from the water a bit. And then facing down, I'm going to put 2 boilers. I'm going to put 4 steam engines. I'm going to load those both with coal. Right, so if I control left click and then drag over them, I put in a full stack of coal into each one. And then I need to power these like that. All right, and then I'm going to bring some power poles down here because I want the power to be close to where I'm making my plates, so I don't have to be running up to the power plant all the time. There we go. Add some more coal there. Get some more plates. All right. And then I'm going to place my radar right there. The radar does two things. Number one, it allows us to see anything on the map that's inside this highlighted area. Okay, so it allows us, by pressing M and going to the map view, we can see different parts of our base. And then it also starts scanning the area around the base rather slowly, but over time it'll start to reveal a larger and a larger area so we can see where enemy bases are and other resource patches. Okay, and then I'm going to put it in my lab. I'm going to put in my 10 red science packs, and we're starting to do automation research. And while that's going, I will go down and get some more coal and some more stone. And let's look at the research queue and see what else we might want to do after automation completes. The next thing that I'll want to do is logistics. Okay, so I'll add that next in the queue. And then I'll want to do turrets and then military. And that'll get us a good start. Logistics will give us splitters and underground belts. Okay, now you can see right now I've got a lot of coal, so I'm going to control, right click, and then just drag over everything. That'll just put half a stack into all those machines, which should allow them to run for a little while. Okay, while I'm waiting for automation research, I shall craft, let's see, that's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do 5 inserters. I'll right click to make 5 iron chests. And then I'm also going to make a second lab. And that should be done by the time automation finishes. And then the first thing that we're going to do is start to automate our science production. And I'm going to add one more furnace there, so we get some more copper. Okay, so automation is done, and that allows me to make these assembly machines. So I'm going to go ahead and make 2, 3, 4 to begin with. Let's make it 5. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to set up is some science production. So I'm going to put 2 machines arranged like that. Let's make some more power poles as well. And I'm going to put a chest here. All right, so this one will make iron gear wheels. And this one will make red science packs. Okay, so we can see here that the red science packs require 1 gear and 1 copper plate. Right, and 1 gear requires 1 iron plate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to load. Well, and you can see that 1 gear needs 2 iron plates. And 1 science pack needs 1 copper and 1 gear. So that means that we need, and you can see there where it says total raw, for each red science pack, we need, as far as raw materials go, we need 2 iron plates and 1 copper plates. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put 2 stacks of iron. So I'm going to shift left click on my inventory. And when you shift left click, it'll move that stack to whatever container you're looking at. So I'm going to put 2 iron and 1 copper in that container. That's enough to make 100 red science packs, which will last us for a while. Okay, and then I'm going to put 1 lab there and 1 lab there. We'll need a power pole. We can put it right there to power these things. Okay, and then the last step is inserters. So we're going to put inserters there. So that'll feed iron plate into this machine. It'll feed copper plate from the chest into this machine. And then I need 1 more inserter, which will put the iron gears into that machine. Okay, and then from there into the labs. And I put 2 labs because in the early stages of the research, this machine will make the science packs faster than 1 lab can consume them. All right, so we just need another power pole. Okay, and we are in business. So this will gradually consume these resources. Every once in a while, we'll come over and take a look and see how we're doing. Okay, I need to get more coal. Let's take a look at our power. I can see I've got about 30 pieces of coal in each one of those boilers. That should last us for a while. Down here, we can see that all these miners have stopped because they have full stacks and they can't take anymore. Right, so we've now got a lot of coal. So I can afford now to feed those with full stacks. Take that stone out, got lots of coal. Okay. Now, let's put some, let me do that, that control right click move again to reload all of these with more coal. Keep that going. This one is not running anymore because it's used up all the iron underneath it. When I hover over it, you can see over under expected resources, there's nothing there. That means there's no more iron ore underneath it. If I hover over this one, you can see how much iron ore is underneath that particular drill. Okay, so I'm going to pick that one up. And I can put one there and get 102, which is not a lot, but this is kind of temporary anyway until we get the base started. Okay, now the next thing I usually do at the start, if you look at all these devices that you need to get your base going, you can see that there's a lot of gears being used and a lot of electric circuits being used. Electric circuits take iron plates and copper cables. Copper cables take copper plates. So if I were going to make something, for example, like an assembly machine that takes 3 electric circuits and 5 iron gears, I'm just going to click that once. So I have to handcraft a lot of stuff before I even get around to making that machine. It takes a while, right? So one of the first things I like to do, is I like to set up a machine making iron gears and 2 machines making copper cables. And that way, I just load those up and they'll just gradually automatically make gear wheels and copper cables for me. And then I can just put those in my inventory. And now if I were to make another assembly machine, you can see it's much faster. I only had to make the green circuits since I already had the wires and the gears in my inventory. So it comes in handy. Let's grab more coal and then reload our power. And then I'm going to set up another machine here to make transport belts. Okay, transport belts take gears and plates. 1 and 1 gets you 2 belts. Right, so from here, if I control left click on an empty square, it'll automatically load as much of the ingredients that it can into the machine. Right, and then I just come over there and drag. All right, so I'm going to put, I clicked with my middle mouse there to clear the filter. I'm going to put my belts there on the first slot. And what I want to start to do is I want to start to extend a belt from this copper patch all the way up to where the power is so that we can feed it with coal automatically. It's going to take a little while before I have enough belts for that because it's not super close. We'll probably need maybe 100 or 200 belts. All right, so let's keep these loaded and keep that producing. Let's put more copper in there. There we go. I hover over this chest. I can see that I still have a lot of plates for science packs. So no problem there. All right, so we'll get more coal. We'll get more stone. I'm going to craft an inserter. And since I have the assembly machine, what I'll do is I'll have this start to make stone furnaces for me. I'll put 2 chests. I'm going to need a power pole. And I'm going to put all my stone in there. Let's make another inserter. We need an inserter coming out as well. Okay, so we'll start to make stone furnaces. And then, since we're starting to get a lot of machines hooked up here, I want to check my power. So I click on a power pole. I can see that I'm satisfying 100% of the power demand, and my production is only using a small portion of its capacity, so there's no problem there. So let's craft 2 burner inserters. So what we can do is we can put a couple chests there. We can put the burner inserters, and then I can say put 4 stacks of coal in each chest, and that way that'll keep the boilers fed. On this power setup, 1 boiler can run 2 steam engines. That's why I have it set up this way. If you look at the energy consumption, 1 boiler consumes 1.8 megawatts, and each one of these steam engines has an output of 900 kilowatts, which is half of that. So that's why we have 2 steam engines to each boiler. And 1 offshore pump can provide enough water to run 20 boilers. Okay, so we can put 10 more of these down the line before we need another pump and more water. So that'll give us a lot of power in the early game at least. And we should also defend this position up here from aliens. So I'll go ahead and make 2 turrets. Our queue is finished. So that means we can also make a submachine gun, and we can make light armor. So I'm going to go ahead and craft those as well. Okay, so I'm going to put a gun turret here. Actually, I'll put it here, just above it. And I don't have much ammo right now, but I'll just load in half of the ammo that I have by right-clicking. So that's got 5 bits. So if an alien, or a biter as they're called, wanders close to there, it'll get shot. And then we should have some more defenses down here as well. That green circle shows the range of the turret, right? So we want to get as much of this captured inside the range as possible. You can see that my light armor was automatically equipped. The pistol is worthless. It really is. So we'll get rid of that, and then I'm going to put my submachine gun where the pistol was. Let's make another assembly machine. We need to reload all these things. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to have this one make firearm magazines. So I'll just load in a stack of iron plates, and that'll start to make those rather slowly. All right, let's feed those machines with iron. Let's feed these with copper. again, I've got a stack of gears. Let's make more belts. I've got almost 200 belts now, so that should be enough to get the mining underway. And our queue is finished. So we can start to select more items to research. Let's do optics next so that we have lights. We don't need stone walls right now, but it's a cheap research, so we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. We'll research electronics, which will unlock some additional options. And then we'll do logistics science pack, and then we'll do steel processing. Okay, so those are the next 5 researches in the queue. Okay, so now we can come over here, we can grab some ammunition. I'll go ahead and reload that. And we can grab the contents of those things. I'll stop taking belts, and I just want to start collecting gears. Okay, now the next thing is to get rid of this pistol. So I'll show you how you can destroy useless items that you don't need anymore. You just create a wooden box, place it inside, make sure you have your gun selected, hover over it and press C to fire. Boom, and it's gone. Never have to worry about it again. Okay, well that's going to do it for step 1 of the tutorial. We've got science running. We are creating iron and copper plates that we can use to build the things that we need. These 2 are mined out, so we'll need to start to expand that. We've got stone, we've got coal, we've got basically everything that we need to start building up the base. This is going to finish in just a moment, and we can create a light so that we can see better at nighttime. There we go. So let's craft a light, and we'll stick a light right there. Okay, so we're off to a good, I think, fairly efficient start. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer those. These subsequent episodes of this tutorial will be coming out once or twice a week, more or less. I used to do daily videos, but I don't have time for that anymore. I've had to cut back on the frequency. The benefit of that, though, is that I'll be able to get your questions and feedback before I make the next episode, which I find is often helpful to make sure that the quality of the series is as good as it can be. So look forward to your questions and comments, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.